Howdy, and welcome to Broken Tool Garage. This video is going to go over covering the restoration of my heater box for my 85 Dodge Ramcharger. So you can see a couple new parts over here. We got the evaporator, got the heater core, and we got a gasket kit. Yes, they do make a gasket kit. It is from Detroit Muscle Technologies, and this is the Mopar Dodge Truck Pickup 81 to 93 AC heater box rebuild restoration seal gasket kit. Going to be putting all that in. I'm going to show you the tips and tricks on that, as well as some extra corrosion preventative on these two pieces here, because if you have your heater box out, you know you don't want to have to be replacing these anytime soon, right? Okay, let's just get started. Okay, let's take a peek at our parts right here. So what I want to go over for the corrosion protection, as you can see here, there's already some corrosion forming around these little seals right here. And a little bit of information about these. This is where your coolant, your refrigerant comes in, and it's in a liquid phase. It goes through these capillary tubes, and as it goes through this tube and it hits these larger ones, you get an increase in area. So it makes that evaporate. That's why this is the evaporator, right? So you have gas flowing through all these little circuits, which is a pretty neat little design. These don't actually go all the way in loop like what you would think in a radiator. They do something very specific to eliminate hot and cold spots. But anyways, what we're going to do is clean these up. Use a little brass brush on there the best that I can. Brake clean this off. I always say brake hose. Brake clean, then air hose. I'm combining words. And then we're going to use some of the Rust-Oleum Reform and Seal just on the ends here. We're not going to get into the vent area. That's usually not where these leak in here. It's going to be these connections. Now the other side, we don't have connections like that. So we're not going to worry about doing anything on that side there. Okay. So on the heater core, I'm going to do the same thing. Now this one comes with the foam on here, so I'm going to have to peel some of this foam back, because where I want to get is where this seam is right here, where they put this cap on. I want to get all the way around there. So I'm going to peel this foam off. Now the Reform and Seal actually is an abrasion resistant, and if I need to, I can put new foam on there. I got plenty of foam laying around for that. Now my 89 Mustang, I had to put the foam on there. See, I'd already been picking at it before. You can see that there. But I'm just going to go ahead and just peel enough off to do this whole cap area here, especially the seal area, both sides. And you see where we got it right up in here, and I'll probably hit these hoses in here as well. Anywhere where they have that flux, where they put something on there, I want to make sure we're not getting corrosion, because like you see this kind of flux, crummy look already starting on there. I don't have to want to be back in here again at all, ever. Well, I doubt that's going to happen. We're going to do our best to make sure that's good. Got one side cleaned up. Had to just use a little bit of lacquer thinner, right? And I just had my little scooper cup I use for paint, and used the steel brush to clean that off, and then I come back with a brass brush, clean it. And I'm going to do another brake clean on here and wipe it down before I paint it, but we got that looking a lot better. If they would have just put the foam in the package and let me put it on, that would have made this a whole lot easier, but didn't have that option. All right, got that foam off, got it cleaned, used lacquer thinner and a brush, and that was messy. That stuff's everywhere. It's stuck to my hands. So I'll have to clean this up, clean my hands up before I paint this right here. So we got this set up, ready to go. I went over all the seams with a brass brush right there, all the ones that I can hit right quick. Same thing over here. I'm not worried about the back side of it, just the front side where we got all the flux and everything. So we're ready to go. I'm going to get these hung up over here on my paint rack, and we'll have a little shot of me putting this stuff on there. Okay, let's go over the tools that you're going to need to go to tear apart your heater box. One of the things I like to have right here is good penetrating lube right here. There are a couple little fasteners on there that you want to coat with that so that those come off nice and easy. And there's some little flanges for those rods with that vacuum pot, right? Okay, the other thing is a 5/16 socket right there, a 3/8 and a 7/16. That'll be the three sizes, at least on my box, that I'm using. I have my Ryobi little impact driver for a couple things. Now, you got to be careful with these because some of these have enough torque to rip your lug nuts off. So, be careful with these things right here because you don't want to strip anything off and over torque stuff. All right, so I got the wrench equivalents to those, a flathead screwdriver, and some needle nose pliers. Also, to pry that box lid off, you may need one of these little trim removal tools right here. All right, well, that's all the tools that you'll need to get the box apart, and let's just dive right to it. Let's start with our penetrating lube. We have this over right quick. These little areas right here, right there, there's three areas where it's going to need it, where these rods go on. I'm just going to put a little bit on there. All right, now that we've done that, we're going to start working on the face of this and get the blower motor out. So this will take some of the weight off. If I'm not replacing my blower motor because it works and, well, I kind of forgot about it. But this is something that can be replaced later on. Looks like that's a smaller size. It is on my box. That's going to be a 1/4 inch. So let me grab a 1/4 inch on there and I'll get that out. Okay, got the 1/4 inch. The other thing is make sure you have some sort of container or bag or something to put your hardware in whenever you take it out so you don't lose them. Just going to put these in a bag and pull that out. Like I said, this is easy to change out, so I just didn't think about it because it did work before. Let's get this cover off next. Now that is the 5/16 that I had on there before. All right, we're just going to set these to the side. You start to get in there. The other thing that's nice to have is a shop vac, so you can start cleaning this up as you go through it. So here's that one gasket that we're going to be replacing. Look at that. So that's why we're going in and doing this. All right, we're going to get this. Oh, hey, I forgot about something. While you're here, there is the AC condenser, little screw right here that we're going to get out while we're here. Okay, now I'm going to get the rods off. Oh yeah, that's nice and smooth. And these have a little clip in here. Once I get this off, I'll show it to you. It's one of the little swivel ones that hold it in place. See? So we're going to clean all that up too. Okay, we got our one little vacuum tube we're going to pull off right here. I like to use the pliers and do a little bit of a gentle twist on it to help break that free and then start pulling on it. And hopefully we don't bugger that up, but if it looks all old and crummy, it's going to need to be replaced anyway. So we'll see if we can get it out without tearing it up. So it was basically molded on there. It's what's happened over the years. So yeah, it was time for that to be replaced. It's still soft, but it's just, you know, it's basically melted, essentially melted on there. Let's get these vacuum pods off. Those are going to be the 7/16, so I have the extension on there so I can reach up in there. You can get attached at the same time. That one's free. Get this one loose over here, same thing. We'll take our screwdriver. This is a grommet right here. I'm going to come around the other side and get that pried out. So you want to be careful with this and try not to destroy anything, because I don't know if you can get another one of them. All right, there we go. Let me go ahead and pick this up and get that out of the way. All right, I got this off. Now we can kind of see what we got going on here. This clip has to be moved in, and then we got this slot. So once that kind of got down in there, that lube, it allowed that slot to come out, and you see kind of where I grabbed it, right? So I had the screwdriver in there, holding that clip in, and then wiggled it out. Come out pretty easy with that method. All right, I'm gonna get this out of the way. The next thing we're gonna do is go back to our 5/16 and get this lid off. I might do a little bit of vacuum on this before I start that. Now when you go to pull the lid off, these runs, there's holes in the lid, so they can be a little bit crudted up, kind of like that stuff right there around it, so you got to be careful. That's what our trim removal tool is for. So we get all these off. Everything's pretty much visible. There's no hidden ones other than we got one right back here. And I think that's the only one on the outside or whatever you want to call that over there that you got to be worried about. Just take your time with it and it'll come off. Okay, mine has a little bit of a warp in here. That's what this plastic does over time. It shrinks and changes and everything. So just going to use the tool to make sure it's lifting up. Got to come around to the other side. So this front gasket on here, I guess I should have pulled that off. It kind of holds it together at that seam. So we got to pull that back a little bit. Oh, that's because I missed the screw right there. It's buried in dirt. That's why you go carefully on this. So yeah, I guess there is a hidden one right back here over here. Look at that. Ooh, yeah, yucky. We're gonna get that all off. Okay, well, we're well on our way to disassembling this. So we have our heater core right here. Lovely thing sitting down in there. And there's a screw on that side underneath this matting. This gasket, there's one screw right there that we're going to take off. Right there. It's just behind this gasket stuff, that's all it is. Right there, right? That's where that's at. This heater core was leaking. Hey, look at this foam. Maybe I will use that on my new one, because that's in good condition there. Ew, that's yucky down in there. But anyways, this thing was leaking. I don't know on the AC because hadn't had the truck with AC ever, I don't think. So I don't know if it works or not. Ooh, this is some nasty looking stuff right there. Look at that stuff. Ugh. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go wash my hands after that. Oh, look at that. The foam on these look like they're in pretty good condition. That's good, because this does not come with that kit. I don't know if they make the foam for the doors or not there, so that's fine. We're gonna toss those to the side, do a quick little cleanup on it, but we are disassembled. We got one little door right here, but it's the fasteners they used on that are not nice and friendly. So it's a little push on, it's a rod, and it's got the little push on cap connector one on there. So I don't really want to dive into that because I think I'm going to mess stuff up. So that I'm going to leave alone, other than cleaning the, well, I can't move this over now, other than cleaning that vacuum pod up a little bit where that tube was on there. So now we're on cleanup phase of getting this foam off, getting the front foam off, getting all this cleaned out. Oh. How, do you see me just, this is a rock. How did a rock that size get, I don't know. This is why we do these things, to clean stuff like that out. Okay, yes, we're outside because I just cleaned this off. And what I did was simple green, nail brush, and that little trim piece right there to get all the glue and all that stuff off. Now, you don't have to get every single piece of glue off there. The cleaner you get it, the better, but you don't have to act like you're doing a paint job on it, right? So we got it looking pretty decent, and since it's sunny outside, I'm just letting it sun dry there. We're about, I don't know, 45, 50 degrees, and sunny in the winter. So, you know, like I said, there's a, I don't know if I said it before, a winter project, so this is what we're doing. Oh, I want to point out the foam. I also got the foam. I just sprayed it down with simple green and then did a little nail brush. I was careful with it because I don't want to tear it, so it's still drying. This is going to take a little bit to dry. I'm just going to leave it out here in the sun. The box is already almost dry already, so I'll go ahead and flip that around on its final side and let it finish drying up here. Looking really good. Get it turned around. Like I said, you don't have to get everything off there, but we're going to go through and we're going to put a finish over the top of this. All right, got everything apart, got everything cleaned. My foam doors are still drying, so while that's occurring, we're going to see what's in the package. So if we look right here, we know that, hey, that there, right? This piece right here would be the top plate up there, and we know this is going to be our front gasket. So these are some easy ones. We can kind of pick out the tray there, and I know where that one goes. These two here, one's going to go there, and I don't know where that other one goes, just to be honest. So we're going to figure that part out together. Oh, hey. Or we could read directions. Read directions. Ah, funny. Okay, so there are directions for that. That's very nice. This is what we got right there. So I'm just going to follow the directions and put it together. And if I got a problem, I will note that right there. That'll probably be a whole lot easier way to do it, right? Okay, I've gone over their directions, so I know what the pieces are. And honestly, if you go by their directions they have, there's no point in watching this video. You just go by their directions. They're pretty thorough. If I run into a problem, then I'll show you that. There is one thing that I will be doing. I will be using the weather strip adhesive. So I'll show you my adhesives and maybe doing like one of these. That way you get the idea in video format. But after you see that, everything's the same. I do want to say this stuff right here, that's good and thick. This is some good quality stuff right here. Very, very nice. I'm glad I went with them and bought this kit from them. Like I said, their instructions, I don't see any reason to go over it again. I'll show one of what I'm using and how I'll put it on there. And after that, it's rinse and repeat on the rest of it, right? Okay, I'm going to use this one as our example for gluing stuff on. There's still a little bit of stuff on there, so I'm going to hit it with lacquer thinner. Even if you did get it all off, the lacquer thinner is going to be a good cleaner. There's got another product that I like to use if I'm going to paint plastic, and that's the, forgot the name of it. Let me go get it so we know what we're talking about. If I'm painting plastic, I like using Super Prep. I use this just a lot generally when painting. If I want something to be really nice, I'll put that on there. But that's not really needed for this, given we're not painting it. So we're just going to make sure we got our rag soaked pretty good in lacquer thinner. I'm just going to go over it good. I think that might need just a little bit more scrubbing, honestly. So we're just going to get the plastic tool out here, and now I'm using that instead of a screwdriver because a screwdriver will gouge it, and we don't want it gouged. All right, we'll come back when I got that clean. You get the point on that, and I'll show you what I'm going to do to stick this on. Okay, here's some of the stuff I'm going to be using. I have the 3M weather strip adhesive, or Gorilla Snot. Some of y'all know it by that name. I got the black version of it. And I have the headliner glue, 3M headliner glue as well if I need that. I don't want to use this just because when you spray this stuff, it gets everywhere. So I think this is going to be a little bit more controllable. All right, so we have our piece with a piece of lint on it, and we have our gasket. So before I put any glue on, I'm going to make for sure that everything's lining up correctly and get it generally in place. I think I'm going to start on this end and just work my way this way and press that down is what I'm going to do. So we've got this out right here. It doesn't matter which one you kind of put it on, it's going to be the same thing, right? I'm going to go ahead and screw the lid. Now you're going to see what's called Gorilla Snot here. But I'm going to come in and we're going to just drizzle. It don't take a whole ton of this stuff. Make sure we're around there real good. This is an outside piece going to an inside, so you want to make sure it seals pretty good. You don't want to get this on your hands either, by the way. Put it there. Okay, so that'll get us started, and then I'll do this half once we get it stuck on there. All right, same thing, we kind of have this somewhat lined up. And you see I'm kind of wiggling it a little bit. That way we're smushing that all around. Little too much wiggle there. All right, that's pressing in place, and we're gonna, it's kind of like how I do a headliner. I do like half and then I do the other half. Pull it back just a little bit, and then we're gonna do the same thing. Come around there. If you use the spray glue, you need to spray both sides. So you would spray, you know, of course have a mat laid out, and you would spray the foam and then you'd spray the plastic and let it tack up real good. And then you would put it together. Now the thing is, with this headliner glue, if you use this, once it touches, you don't get to move it. Once you have both sides sprayed and you touch it together, that's where it's at. So that's one reason I do like the Gorilla Snot stuff, is because I can manipulate it a little bit better. All right. Okay, I was going to go get clamps, and you see what I did. It just bolted it on there. It makes more sense. Now this is where you don't want to. We haven't got to that part yet. You want to use your hand nut driver on there, because if you do your impact, you don't know how much torque you're putting on it, and you can very easily strip this out. This is metal screws going into plastic, so. Okay, these foam gaskets, like this kind of foam here, it's a little different. This is more of a dust gasket, whereas the other one we had over there, it needed to seal out water and elements. So we're going to get one of these put on, and then that's going to be the same for these others right here, which this goes on the other end back there. And we have this piece right here, that's where this one right here is going to go, right? So I'm going to show you one. We're still going to use the same thing, the Gorilla Snot on here. First thing, let's make sure we got our orientation right. There we go, that looks good right there. You can put it either way, but it's really made to fit. Looks like that way right there, right? So we're just going to take and pop it back like that. Guess I should have had this out and ready to go there. Oh, yeah, on my hand. Now we're just going to dot this in a couple places, because it's just to hold it in place. This is just a dust one, right? We're not as concerned with it sealing. That's why they call it Gorilla Snot right there, right? Because it is snotty. Just like that. Now I've already turned it and I forgot which way it goes. There we go. I think I got it figured out. Just press it down. All it's doing is just holding this bugger in place. That's it. Okay, let's go over our doors. They only go in one spot, and to help you locate them, you know that the threads right here have to face up, because that's where the little bracket goes on. So that helps you kind of figure it out. This one right here that looks like this goes right to there. This is the middle one. Of course, threads face up. And then the stubby one over there goes in the back. Let's clean one of these up right here. I'm using this Merc abrasive cloth stuff or sandpaper. You don't have to go super aggressive. You just want to get the crud off of there. I wouldn't recommend using a power tool, because if you put a wire wheel and you get up in this foam, you're going to eat it fast. So don't take much. At least on mine, I don't take all that much. And we're just going to give a general clean. We want to make sure we don't have anything kind of sticking out on there. Just going to prevent it from operating or operating stiff. And that's it. I'm going to take some white lithium grease, right, and daub that on there. That'll keep any moisture from forming on that, and it's a lubricant, right? Just do that right there. Slobber it on real good, and we're going to drop it in. So it does have a little U slot right there. And it's dropped in. Okay, let's get the heater core dropped in. I have the factory foam piece off my old heater core. It fits right on there just fine, so I'm just going to use that. Now note it has these little grooves in here. The box has grooves in there too, so that'll allow it to slide right into place. All right, because see, here's where you see the little notches right there. So it looks like it needs to go down just a little further. All right, that should work. When we go to put the top on, then we'll see kind of how that's going to fall into place right there. Okay, let's take a peek. New versus old. Old one has foam right here, right? So that's going to help. Actually, this is a thick molded piece right here, see? It goes around those. So looks like I'll need to reuse this. It also has this mounting flange right here to hold that in place. It's not there. See, this is molded. This is actually soldered in there, and they didn't give me that on that one. But this actually seems to be in good condition if I can get it to stick on there. Once it's in place, it'll stay there. I think I could probably peel that off like that. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to get this peeled off and this clean and put on there. Same thing, I'm going to use the Gorilla Snot to just kind of tack it on there and drop that in. And I just got to be aware that, hey, whenever I'm messing with this, I don't have that extra support right there when I'm hooking these hoses and everything in, right? All right, got it transferred over. I did a spray white lithium grease on the inside of this one that goes around the coils because it is touching the coils right there, right? Okay, and it goes in at an angle right like that. And it's going to go right into place without any kind of argument. Now, isn't it? Well, almost. Oh, that's what it is. This little plate right here has these screws on it, so I'm going to need to take that plate off and then get that sealed up so it can drop down. Okay, drop down in there once I did that. Now, here's something. You see these little caps on here? Whenever I unloosened these things, they had pressurized gas inside there. I don't know what they used to test it with, but whenever I started taking this off, it started spraying some gas out. So be very careful of that. I didn't expect that at all. I figured it'd just be dried. Maybe they pulled vacuum on it. Okay, so make sure you keep your plugs on there. I'll probably come through and put some more tape on it because you do not want to get any kind of dirt or moisture or anything inside this unit right here, right? Okay, this is why you call it a sanity check. The doors and everything's fitting pretty good. It fits pretty good back over in here. However, you can see an issue here where they have the hole drilled for this bracket, this whole assembly here, and you kind of see the hoses coming out here aren't quite coming out straight. So I'm going to have to come in here and modify that heater core bracket assembly. I'll probably have to bend the tubes down just a little bit. All right, careful tweaking has that in a better location. They actually have multiple holes in that bracket. I would show you, but I'd have to pull the thing out that I just wrangled in place, right? So we're going to see what kind of luck we have at getting that in place. It's right there. There we go. I think that's going to look a lot better. And looks like maybe our tubes might need to have a final. And of course I'll need to take those off so we're yet again not getting trash and stuff down into it. But a lot of times you can do something like that right there very, very carefully. Because you don't want to pinch that thing, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to give you your warranty back if you pinch a hose or something and install it in. Okay, that looks a lot better. To get the lid on, again, sanity check, the doors do move. What I found is line that middle one up, and then you pretty much got it whipped after that. You know, get your finger caught in it and all kinds of good stuff. Okay, let it kind of settle in there. And there we go, look at that. Doesn't that look a whole lot better than where we were before? Okay, we're staring at this because there's an issue. I am not ready to put this gasket on. If we look back here, since they didn't give me the brace with that evaporator right there, we can see there's nice big gap right there. And this isn't going to cover it, and I don't have enough to stuff back in there. So we're I'm trying to tidy this up for y'all. I know we're going long on a video here, but this is the kind of stuff you're going to run into. So we're just going to tackle it. I'm going to go through and clean that up real good, tape that off, and use my spray foam. All right, I know this is going to be hard to see, but see I kind of built that in there. Take a peek back behind there. I tried to seal it up as best as I could. Back in there and on the front. So I'm gonna do one more peek at that and going to give it a shot. This is not my expertise at all, but like I said, you just got to roll with the punches on some of this stuff, right? Whether it works or not, I'm still going to show you. That way you know, hey, this will or will not work. Because I bet some of y'all had the same idea I did, and I'm willing to bet some of y'all have a better idea than what I have. But here we go. Okay, I think that's going to work. It did fill up my little holes right there, the little screw holes, but it's foam, so I can clean that out. It just took a little bit of a shot to put it all the way down in the bottom. And of course, clean all your foam stuff immediately or else you don't get to use it again. I didn't want to use this because, I mean, I just barely used a little bit. And I got it clean, so I should be able to reuse that can there. But yeah, if y'all have a better idea how to accomplish that, let me know. I do wish I would have taped those holes up, but like I said, it's foam. I can go in there and I can clean that pretty easily. So this is our alignment right here for our gasket going on there. I've got it all peeled out and pre-fitted on here. That way I know it fits before I start putting glue on it, right? So I'm going to start back there. I'm going to use the headliner glue. I'm going to take and lift it like this. So know that the glue side goes this way. I'm only going to glue about half of it and put it on there, and then I'll take the spray foam and just spritz it lightly. You don't have to go crazy with it. It's not like putting a headliner on where you really got to coat it. We just need something to kind of tack it in place here. So let's see what we get. Here's our glue. I'm going to be using the 3M headliner glue right here. I should probably put my gloves back on for this, but we'll chance it for a second. Now, the foam that it comes with, I'm going to just use it as a backer and just be careful here. Make sure you hit your corners. See how this just goes everywhere if you're not careful? And what you want to do, you want to make sure you got enough coat on it to do what it needs to do. You don't have to be crazy thick. Let it kind of haze up just a little bit. Depends on the temperature. Like in the shop, it's winter time now, so it's 50 degrees. So I'm gonna give that just a little bit. Okay, this is a dust seal, so it doesn't have to be completely sealed all the way around there. I'm going to give that a little bit to dry up just because I overshot just a little bit right there and I don't want it tacky. But that's it. We'll get that thrown on top of there, and we're just about done with this evolution. Once we have that done, I think I'm going to go ahead and clean up the outside of the box with some trim restore. We'll get to that here in a minute. All right, this is how our foam turned out. I like it. Looks pretty good. It's sealed. I do have a little bit of gap down on the bottom, but that's fine because any water does get in here, it'll drain out there. I just didn't want tons of water coming into it. Got the lid on, which is, you just got to fiddle with it and take your time. All the doors work, nice and smooth, and that's that. So I would not use your impact to impact those on. These are metal screws going into plastic. Just use a nut driver by hand, that way you can feel what's going on. I'm going to be using the TranStar matte finish. They have this in flat and gloss. If you can get your hands on the SEM stuff, that's also good stuff too. Okay, got that sprayed on there, looking pretty good. Got the vacuum pods on there. I just followed their directions for clocking them, and now it's time to get it into the truck. Okay, when you're installing a heater box, it won't set up there by itself, so you'll need to kind of get the bottom part in and then tilt it forward and put your little lock nuts on there to hold it in place. There's some more little gaskets right here. These, they go over the stud, right? And then you put the lock cap on there. If you like this content, if you like the Ramcharger, go ahead and click that playlist right there, and you can see more about it. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time on Broken Tool Garage.